Christian, for better and for worse. This is Pentecost, what you call Whit Sunday in the Anglo-Saxon world, as far as I know. And I wrote a presentation of the phenomenology of the white, Western, then European, and eventually Christian or anti-Christian spirit. So it's not done very rigorously, it's just to illustrate the manifestation of spirit in the Western world. This is Hegelianism applied. Hopefully we see. You have the libertarians, Ron Paul, I will not name all the names. This is the libertarians. They talk about white identity. Here they don't. Here they do a little bit. Here you have the Republicans. You have the Republicans who talk about white identity. Here you have the alt-right. They criticize the left, the woke ideology, but they do not talk about the question of ethnicity or race. Here, the deeper you go, the more the question of race, Western civilization is mentioned. Here you have the alt-right, YouTubers, politicians, one could say. Here you have the transition between American Renaissance and the alt-right, which is mostly an American phenomenon, but with the development of the internet, anyone can access this information. Here you have Styx Exenhammer, who is a libertarian, but he's kind of radical. He's not pro-white, but he's a libertarian. Here you have Chase Rachels, which is the transition between libertarianism and open white identity. Here you have the Arctos publishing house. Here you have Ricardo Duchesne, Keith Woods. I don't know how to classify him, but he's the more you go here, you are kind of spiritual. Here it's superficial, it's intelligence. Here you have a beginning of spirituality. These people, they are spiritual. These people, they are intelligent, but they are kind of bland in a way. So this is not really spirit, this is intelligence. Here you have a beginning of spirituality, so to speak. I hope that it's clear. Yeah, that's the entire intellectual, political, also economic, social, sociological life of the Western world in the beginning of the 20th century. Here, it's a little bit more, even more radical. Here you have a list of names. They are real hardcore white nationalist or white national socialist. Arthur Kemp, Tomislav Sunic, Andrew Anglin, David Duke, James Mason. They are really fanatical far-right extremists. Technology, it's not coordinated with this, but here you have the manifestation of white spirit, white intelligence. Elon Musk, the transhumanist movement. Here, technology, Bill Gates. Here it's reason in history, it's the manifestation of reason, namely my mind. Putin, Biden, Macron, Orban, Bolsonaro, Boris Johnson, Olaf Scholz, etc. Biden and Scholz and Party Johnson, they are on the left, so if we had to define briefly, yeah. And here in the middle of this you have a Catholic, anti-racist white American, Eugene Michael Jones, who is here to compensate. So he's kind of anti-Jewish, one might say. They are anti-Jewish, but he's anti-racist, and they are racist. So it's maybe to counterbalance, I don't know. And yeah, this is another manifestation of the white Western spirit. Yeah. Then we continue. Here you have to make the connection between the previous, it's connected with the first table board. Here you have the manifestation of, it's not really spirit here, it's white intelligence, I guess. You have the atheist, Lawrence Krauss, theoretical physicist, biologist, militant atheist. You have sociobiology. Here you enter the realm of race realism, racial anthropology, which is connected with the alt-right and the white nationalist movement. They draw inspiration from the works of these men. Here you have the intelligent white leftists. Someone like Paul Embry is a socialist conservative in the United Kingdom. You have people who talk about finance, Alan Braun, Greg Felton, who denounce the manipulation of the banking system. Ecology, Dan O'Neill, who denounces the excesses of growth and is militant for a more green type of economy and production. Paul Stamets, who as far as I know is a biologist interested in mushrooms. You have the mystical people like Sheldrake and David Icke. You have philosophers like Zizek and Ellie Anderson. That's the channel Overthink. They are really smart. They are very Hegelian. Here you have the New Age whites, Eckhart Tolle, Braden, Neil Walsh. So spirits, I said begin here. They are atheists, but they are spiritual nonetheless. And here you have theology or philosophy of really spiritual people, Thomas Ord, Matthew Siegel, that's the channel Footnotes to Plato, and Glenn Alexander Maggie, that's one of the best Hegelian scholars available, I guess. And finally, the real spiritual Europeans who are pagans, but they might become Christian eventually. You have, I try to balance males and females. This is really the most spiritual people on the planet. And they are all white Europeans, mostly Nordic, Germanic. He's a French pagan, Hermetic Khitan. So here they are not really that high spiritual. The higher you go, the more spiritual they are. Stephen Flowers, Sakura Sawell, they are not really into it. They are a little bit more spiritual. Here you have real European paganism. She's not aware of her European identity. She isn't either on the ethnic part. They are kind of confused. Their thoughts are very confused, but there's a spiritual truth. Here you have the Golden One, and she's, I think, a Swedish pagan goddess. That was the name of her channel. She's open to the question of paganism and feminism. Here you have ethnically conscious but very intelligent pagans. Here you have really smart, brilliant, spiritual pagans. They revived modern paganism. Here you have a really spiritual person. His channel is not very known. He doesn't make any video anymore. I think he has 1,300 subscribers, but he has a lot of spiritual potential. Caroline Emmerich, very smart. And then you have they are not pagan, and they are only contingently European. Apollonian German, I've made countless videos about him. Dr. Deep State is kind of his ally. He's the most enlightened person about what's going on the geopolitical scale. And Stella, that was the channel Stelbell. I talked about Stella in many of my videos. I will keep talking about Stella because she's really important. And here you have the cross, the death, and the resurrection of spirit, maybe. And my purpose is to turn these people into Christians, because that's a very Hegelian. Pagans have to become Christians eventually. That's a Hegelian trick. That's very Hegelian. So yeah, that's what I could show. I have not very elaborated the video because I want to post the video before the end of Pentecost. But yeah, that's for the symbol, I guess. I'm a very Christian person, for better and for worse. So I will post the video if I can before midnight. And yeah, that's what I had to share.